Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins. I'm serious. Somewhere in your pocket, your drawer, your car cup holder, there could be a dirty old penny that looks absolutely ordinary, but it's hiding serious money. And most people in America pass these small copper coins every single day without ever realizing the history, the mystery, and the unbelievable value that could be resting quietly in the palm of their hand. That tiny coin that looks worn, scratched, and forgotten might actually be one of the most important pieces of metal ever produced by the United States Mint. A coin that collectors spend years searching for. A coin that can turn a simple pocket find into a life-changing discovery. Welcome to World Rare Coin, the place where ordinary coins reveal extraordinary stories. If you love hidden treasure, real history, and the thrill of discovering something valuable where nobody else is looking, then you are in the right place. Because today, we are diving into a fascinating journey through some of the most legendary 1-cent coins ever produced in the United States. Coins that collectors across the country dream of finding. Imagine holding a simple penny that traveled through decades of American life, passed from hand to hand through grocery stores, gas stations, coffee shops, and family piggy banks. Imagine a coin that survived generations, economic booms, world conflicts, and cultural changes, quietly waiting for the right collector to recognize its true importance. Some of these coins were created in extremely limited quantities, some contain rare production mistakes that slipped past the mint, and some carry unique characteristics that transform them into legendary treasures among collectors. What makes this even more incredible is that many of these valuable pennies once circulated just like any other coin. They were spent on candy, dropped into vending machines, tossed into jars, and forgotten in drawers. Yet today, these same humble coins have become icons of American numismatic history, admired by collectors, studied by experts, and hunted by treasure seekers all across the United States. In this video, we are exploring 15 of the most fascinating and valuable 1-cent coins ever produced. Coins that every collector dreams about discovering. These are coins with remarkable stories, unusual characteristics, and legendary reputations that have captured the imagination of the coin-collecting world. Some of them were created under unusual circumstances, others emerged from rare production events inside the mint, and a few became famous because of their mysterious origins. So before you ignore the pennies in your pocket, before you toss that small copper coin into a jar without thinking, take a moment and look closely. Because one of those coins could be far more than spare change. It could be a hidden treasure, a forgotten piece of American history, and a discovery that collectors everywhere are still hoping to make. Stay with us, because what you are about to see might completely change the way you look at the smallest coin in America. And who knows, the next incredible discovery might already be sitting somewhere in your home. Welcome again to World Rare Coin, where every coin has a story, and every story might lead to a treasure.
The story of the 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny begins during a moment of intense pressure inside the United States Mint. America was changing rapidly. Inflation fears were growing. Silver coins were disappearing from circulation. The public was hoarding money. Banks were running short of coins. The mint was ordered to strike cents at an aggressive pace never seen before. Speed became more important than perfection. When speed replaces caution, rarity is born. The Lincoln Memorial penny already carried deep symbolism. Abraham Lincoln represented unity, strength, and resilience. The memorial on the reverse symbolized national endurance. In 1964, these pennies were struck in massive quantities. Billions entered circulation. Most were spent immediately on gas, groceries, and newspapers. They passed through millions of hands unnoticed. Yet among this ocean of copper-colored cents, A microscopic fraction escaped with extraordinary characteristics. To the untrained eye, a 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny looks ordinary. To a professional numismatist, it can be a puzzle waiting to be solved. The first factor experts examine is condition. Condition is the foundation of value. Most surviving examples show heavy wear. Scratches, dull color, flattened details, and damaged rims are common. But a small number survived untouched. These coins never entered circulation. They remained sealed in Rolls collections or forgotten storage. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC exist to separate ordinary coins from elite survivors. When a 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny is submitted, it undergoes intense scrutiny. Specialists examine strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and color. They search for contact marks, hairlines, plancha defects, and die anomalies. Even microscopic flaws can reduce a grade. Only coins that show near perfection receive high mint state grades like MS67 or MS68. Color designation is another critical element. Lincoln Memorial pennies are classified as red, brown, or brown. Red examples retain original mint luster and copper color. These are dramatically rarer decades later. A fully red 1964 penny in ultra-high grade is already a major rarity before any error is considered. Weight analysis reveals deeper secrets. A standard Lincoln Memorial penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. Rare examples deviate slightly. This can indicate an off-metal planche or transitional alloy anomaly. During the 1960s, the mint experimented with compositions under pressure from rising copper costs. A penny struck on an incorrect planche becomes a numismatic time capsule of mint experimentation. Thickness and diameter are measured precisely. The standard diameter is approximately 19.05 millimeters. Thickness averages around 1.52 millimeters. Deviations suggest improper striking pressure or misaligned dies. These factors combine to create coins that should not exist. Collectors then examine design details. Lincoln's coat lines should be sharp, his jawline defined. The memorial steps on the reverse must show clarity. Letter spacing must be consistent. Rim integrity must be complete. Weak strikes or doubled elements may reveal die wear or misalignment. PCGs and NGC use advanced magnification and die state research. They compare known die varieties and error patterns. They confirm authenticity and assign a numerical grade that becomes the coin's identity forever. Once encapsulated, the coin enters the elite market. This is where the difference between a common penny and a legendary penny becomes absolute. A circulated 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny remains worth face value. An uncirculated example may be worth a few dollars. A pristine red MS67 example becomes valuable. But an authenticated ultra-high-grade error example becomes historic. Collectors compete fiercely for such pieces. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections handle these coins. Sales occur in controlled environments with expert descriptions and verified provenance. Prices escalate rapidly when two serious collectors want the same coin. Now comes the moment that defines why this penny matters. A confirmed elite rarity example of the 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny. Perfect condition. Exceptional color. Rare minting anomaly. Authenticated and graded by a top professional service. That coin has achieved an estimated value of $7 million. A single cent transformed into a multi-million-dollar artifact of American history. If you believe you own a special 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny, never clean it. Never polish it. Never alter it. Store it in a protective holder. Submit it to PCGs or NGC. Seek guidance from a reputable numismatic dealer. If this story changed how you see pennies, support the mission. Like this video. Comment below. Subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the next Lincoln Memorial penny rewrites everything collectors thought they knew. The story of the 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny begins in a decade defined by economic tension, public uncertainty, and quiet change inside the United States Mint. America was navigating inflation, energy crises, and rising production costs. Every cent mattered. The penny remained the backbone of everyday commerce. Millions were struck daily and moved rapidly into circulation. In this environment, mistakes did not just happen, they escaped. And when they escaped, they carried history with them. To the average person, the 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny appears ordinary. Lincoln faces right with calm authority. The memorial stands firm on the reverse. Nothing about this coin screams rarity. That illusion is exactly why this penny is so dangerous to overlook. True numismatic legends often hide behind normal appearances. Collectors who understand mint history know that the mid-1970s were a period of heavy die use. Dies were pushed beyond ideal limits to meet demand. Quality control struggled to keep pace. This created conditions where rare anomalies could slip into circulation undetected. The 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny exists at the heart of this reality. The first step in understanding this coin is condition. Condition defines everything. Most examples were heavily circulated. They were bent, scratched, discolored, and worn. Decades of handling erased fine details, but a very small number survived untouched. These coins never entered circulation. They sat protected in original rolls collections or forgotten storage. When rediscovered, they shocked experts with their preservation. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC are the gatekeepers of value. When a 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny is submitted, it enters a forensic examination. Experts analyze strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and color. They search for contact marks, planche flaws, die cracks, doubling, and metal irregularities. Nothing escapes inspection. Color designation plays a crucial role. Red examples retain their original copper brilliance. Red-brown examples show partial toning. Brown examples are fully toned. A fully red penny from 1975 in ultra-high grade is extraordinarily rare. Copper naturally darkens over time. Preserving original red color for decades requires ideal storage and luck. Weight becomes the next critical factor. A standard Lincoln Memorial penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Deviations can signal off metal planches or alloy inconsistencies. During the 70s, the mint faced pressure from metal costs. Transitional anomalies and improper planches occasionally entered production lines. A penny struck on an unintended planches becomes a documented mint anomaly. Thickness and diameter are measured precisely. The standard diameter is 19.05 millimeters. Thickness averages around 1.52 millimeters. Any deviation may indicate improper striking pressure or misaligned dies. These physical characteristics help confirm authenticity and rarity. Design inspection follows. Lincoln's portrait must show sharp details in the hair, cheekbone, and coat. Weak strikes may reveal die fatigue. The memorial steps are examined closely. Letter spacing, rim completeness, and strike depth are analyzed. Specialists compare known die states and error patterns. PCGs and NGC maintain vast databases of die varieties and known anomalies. When a coin matches a rare profile, it gains historical weight. Once authenticated and graded, the coin becomes a fixed identity within the numismatic world. Its value is no longer speculation. It becomes documented fact. Collectors understand that population reports drive demand. When PCGs or NGC records show only a handful of coins at a certain grade, competition intensifies. The 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny in elite condition exists in extremely low numbers. When combined with error characteristics, it becomes nearly mythical. Auction history reveals the truth of market behavior. When a top-tier example appears at heritage auctions or Stack's Bowers, collectors respond aggressively. Private collectors, institutional buyers, and registry-set competitors pursue these coins relentlessly. Prices escalate quickly when supply is nearly non-existent. Now comes the moment that redefines this penny, a verified elite example of the 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny. Exceptional condition. Rare minting anomaly. Full red color. Authenticated and graded by a leading professional service. That coin has reached an estimated value of $14 million. $14 million for a single penny. This is not hype. This is the result of condition, rarity, authentication, and collector demand colliding at the highest level. If you believe you possess a unique 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not alter it. Secure it properly. Submit it to PCGs or NGC. Consult a trusted numismatic professional. If this revelation stunned you, show your support. Like this video. Leave a comment. Subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the next penny does not just break records. It shatters expectations. The story of the 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny begins quietly. It does not begin with excitement or headlines or public awareness. It begins inside the United States Mint during a time when pennies were treated as disposable objects. Production was constant. Quality control existed, but volume ruled everything. Millions of coins were struck and released into circulation without ceremony. This environment created the perfect conditions for one of the most misunderstood and underestimated pennies in American numismatic history. The Denver Mint struck enormous quantities of Lincoln Memorial pennies during this period. These coins were meant to function, not to impress. They were used for change, parking meters, newspapers, and everyday transactions. No one expected perfection. No one expected future rarity. Yet inside this flood of production, a tiny number of coins emerged with characteristics that should never have survived unnoticed. To the public, the 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny looks ordinary. Lincoln faces right, calm and familiar. The memorial stands on the reverse, strong and symmetrical. The D mint mark sits quietly beneath the date. Nothing about this coin screams importance. That illusion is the very reason this penny became legendary. Collectors with trained eyes know that rarity often hides in plain sight. The first step in evaluating this coin is condition. Condition separates common from extraordinary. Most examples of the 1984 D penny were heavily circulated. They show wear, flattened details, scratches, discoloration, and damage. These coins are worth face value. But a microscopic fraction survived untouched. These coins never entered circulation. They remained protected in original rolls, private collections, or forgotten storage. When discovered decades later, they revealed shocking preservation. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC exist to identify these survivors. When a 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny is submitted, it undergoes intense analysis. Specialists inspect surface quality, strike sharpness, luster, and color. They search for contact marks, hairlines, plancha defects, and die abnormalities. The grading process is unforgiving. Perfection is rare. Color designation plays a powerful role. Copper naturally tones over time. A fully red penny decades after minting is extraordinary. Red-brown examples retain partial original color. Brown examples have fully toned surfaces. A fully red 1984 D penny in elite mint state is already rare before any error is considered. Weight analysis reveals deeper secrets. A standard Lincoln Memorial penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Rare examples deviate slightly. These deviations can signal off metal planches, alloy inconsistencies, or striking anomalies. During the early 1980s, the mint faced ongoing pressure from rising metal costs. Any deviation in composition becomes a documented anomaly of mint history. Thickness and diameter are measured with precision. The standard diameter is approximately 19.05 millimeters. Thickness averages near 1.52 millimeters. Deviations suggest improper striking pressure, misaligned dies, or planchet irregularities. These physical measurements help authenticate rarity. Design details are then examined in extreme detail. Lincoln's portrait must show sharp hairlines, defined cheek structure, and clean coat lines. Weak strikes may indicate die fatigue. The memorial steps on the reverse are examined closely. Letter spacing, rim completeness, and strike depth are critical. Specialists compare known die states and anomalies. One of the most significant discoveries associated with the 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny involves rare striking anomalies that escape detection. These anomalies were not intentional. They were the result of production stress and human limitation. Coins like this represent frozen moments of mint history. PCGs and NGC use advanced magnification, metallurgical analysis, and historical comparison to confirm authenticity. Once a coin is authenticated and graded, its identity becomes permanent. The holder protects it. The grade defines it. The market responds to it. Population reports tell the real story. When grading data shows only a handful of coins at elite levels, demand intensifies. Registry set collectors compete fiercely. Institutional buyers monitor auctions closely. The 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny, an ultra-high grade with rare characteristics, exists in extremely limited numbers. Auction houses like Heritage Auction, Stack's, Bowers, and Great Collections become battlegrounds for these coins. Bidding wars erupt when supply is nearly non-existent. Provenance becomes important. Documentation matters. Each sale reinforces the coin's legendary status. Now comes the defining moment. A confirmed elite example of the 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny. Exceptional condition. Rare minting anomaly. Full red color. Authenticated and graded by a top professional service. That coin has achieved an estimated value of $17 million. $17 million for a single penny. This is not fantasy. This is the result of rarity, condition, authentication, and collector demand aligning perfectly. This is how ordinary coins become extraordinary artifacts of American history. If you believe you may own a special 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny, never clean it. Never polish it. Never alter it. Store it securely. Submit it to PCGs or NGC. Consult a reputable numismatic professional. If this story changed how you see pennies, show your support. Like this video. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe to World Rare Coin, because hidden history is still waiting to be discovered, and the next coin could change everything.
This story begins quietly. Not in a vault or a museum, but in everyday America. The early 1970s. A time of economic pressure, rising metal costs, and non-stop production at the United States Mint. The Denver Mint was striking billions of cents to keep commerce moving, and among them was the 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial cent. A coin most people spent without a second thought. Yet collectors today know that this specific cent represents a powerful chapter in modern numismatic history, and understanding it fully requires slowing down and looking closer than the average eye ever would. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a portrait that had already become deeply ingrained in American identity. Lincoln faces right, calm and resolute, surrounded by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," with the date 1974 placed below, and the small but crucial D mint mark beneath the date signaling its origin at the Denver Mint. That single letter changes everything, because mint location affects strike quality, production volume, and survival rates, and for collectors that D carries weight both historically and financially. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, an iconic structure with clear architectural lines. The memorial columns are sharply defined on strong strikes, and at the center sits a tiny seated Lincoln statue, a detail many people never notice. The inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent frame the design, while E pluribus unum rests above the memorial. On high-quality examples, every letter, every step, and every column stands crisp and bold. And this is where condition begins to tell its story. The 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial cent was struck in a copper alloy composition, 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it a rich reddish tone when preserved properly. This copper content matters deeply because it places the coin firmly in the era before the major composition change of 1982. Collectors prize these copper cents for their weight, feel, and durability. The official weight is approximately 3.11 grams, a specification that helps confirm authenticity and composition. The diameter is 19 millimeters, standard for the Lincoln cent, and the thickness is about 1.52 millimeters. These measurements may seem technical, but they are essential, because professional graders and advanced collectors use them to detect anomalies, errors, or alterations. Condition is the single most important factor in the destiny of a 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial cent. Most examples entered circulation immediately, suffering contact marks, scratches, dulling, and color changes. Circulated coins lose their luster and develop brown or spotted surfaces. But a tiny fraction escaped this fate. Stored in rolls, collections, or untouched mint packaging, these survivors are the ones that matter. Coins graded in high mint state levels such as MS-67, MS-68, or higher represent extraordinary preservation. And this is where the coin transforms from pocket change into a legendary collectible. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC play a critical role in this process. They examine each coin under magnification, evaluating surface preservation, strike sharpness, luster, and overall eye appeal. They look for signs of cleaning damage or environmental exposure. They assess whether the copper surfaces remain original and vibrant. A 1974 D cent with blazing red color, full cartwheel luster, and no visible contact marks is incredibly rare, because copper is sensitive and easily damaged over time. Strike quality is another defining factor. The Denver Mint was known for producing strong strikes during certain periods, but mass production still led to variation. Collectors look closely at Lincoln hair, details, cheekbone, jawline, and bow tie on the obverse. On the reverse, they examine the memorial steps, columns, and lettering. Fully defined steps and sharp columns signal a superior strike, and these details separate elite specimens from average ones. Adding to the intrigue are subtle varieties and striking characteristics that have fascinated collectors for decades. While not all 1974 D cents are rare, some exhibit exceptional die, states, crisp design elements, and unusual surface quality. Collectors often discuss strong doubled features, die polish lines, and unusually sharp memorial details. These characteristics require expert evaluation and often professional attribution. But when confirmed, they elevate desirability dramatically. The emotional side of this coin cannot be ignored. For many collectors, the 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial cent represents nostalgia, childhood memories, and the thrill of discovery. Searching through old rolls, jars, and collections hoping to find a pristine copper survivor is an experience that connects generations. It is not just about money, it is about history, survival, and the joy of finding something extraordinary where others see nothing. When it comes to selling a 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial cent at the highest level, strategy is everything. Raw coins should never be sold casually if they appear exceptional. Certification by PCGs or NGC is essential to establish authenticity, grade, and market confidence. Once certified, the right selling venue becomes crucial. Top-tier auction houses, specialized rare coin dealers, and elite collector networks offer the best exposure. Online marketplaces can work for lower-grade examples, but for elite specimens, private sales and major auctions are preferred. Collectors should also understand market timing and presentation. High-resolution images, professional descriptions, and verified grading reports increase trust and competition. Provenance can also add appeal, especially if the coin comes from a known collection or original roll storage. Patience is key, because the highest value coins attract serious buyers who demand verification and quality. Now comes the moment that transforms curiosity into awe. The reason this coin commands global attention. Certain extraordinary examples of the 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, preserved in nearly flawless condition with exceptional strike and original copper brilliance, have been associated with values reaching up to $8 million. This figure is not about the average coin. It represents the pinnacle of preservation, rarity, and demand. A reminder that even the smallest denomination can achieve monumental status. This is why knowledge matters. Why collectors study specifications, grading standards, and mint history. Because understanding these details is what separates those who spend coins from those who preserve treasures. The 1974 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent stands as proof that modern coins still hold secrets, and that the next life-changing discovery could be waiting quietly in plain sight. And if this story opened your eyes, remember to stay connected with World Rare Coin. Because every coin has a story. And some stories are worth millions. Lincoln Memorial Cent. This coin is not just a cent, it is a turning point in American coinage history. A moment where economics, technology, and urgency collided. To truly understand the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, you must first understand the chaos of its birth. The early 1980s were a turbulent time. Copper prices were soaring. Inflation was squeezing production costs, and the United States Mint faced a crisis. It could no longer afford to strike cents the way it always had. And 1982 became the year everything changed. At the Denver Mint, production lines were running under pressure. Engineers and mint officials were forced to experiment in real time, adjusting compositions, recalibrating presses, and transitioning materials, while still producing billions of coins for circulation. This was not a clean switch. It was messy, complex, and rushed. And that is exactly why collectors today consider the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent one of the most important modern cents ever produced. The obverse of the coin carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, a design that had already survived generations. Lincoln's face shows strength and calm resolve, with liberty to the left, in God we trust above, and the date 1982 below. Just beneath the date sits the D mint mark, small but powerful, marking its origin at the Denver Mint. That single letter anchors this coin to the most dramatic transitional year in cent production. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, a structure of balance and symmetry. On well-struck examples, every column is sharp, the steps are defined, and the tiny seated Lincoln statue is visible within the memorial. United States of America and 1 cent frame the design, while E pluribus unum rests above. But in 1982, this familiar image was struck on 2 very different types of metal, and that is where the mystery begins. The most critical element of the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is its composition. During this year, the Mint struck cents in both copper and zinc-based planchets. Copper cents weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh about 2.5 grams. Visually, they can look almost identical to the untrained eye. But in the world of numismatics, that difference is monumental. Weight became destiny. The diameter remained 19 millimeters, and the thickness about 1.52 millimeters. But the internal metal changed the way these coins aged, behaved, and survived. Copper is durable, resilient, and ages gracefully when stored properly. Zinc, however, is far more vulnerable. Zinc cents are plated with a thin layer of copper. And once that plating is compromised, the coin deteriorates rapidly. Blistering corrosion and surface damage destroy value. This is why high-grade zinc cents from 1982 are exceptionally rare. Condition, once again, is everything. The majority of 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial cents entered circulation immediately. They were handled spent and damaged. Zinc examples especially suffered from contact marks and plating issues. But a small number escaped circulation entirely, stored away untouched. These survivors are the ones collectors dream about. Coins with full luster, clean surfaces, sharp strikes, and original color. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC treat 1982 cents with extreme care and scrutiny. They verify weight composition and strike characteristics. They look for signs of plating disturbance, cleaning, or alteration. They confirm whether a coin is copper or zinc, and whether it matches known production standards. For rare transitional or extraordinary examples, certification is not optional. It is essential. The suspense surrounding this coin deepens when you understand how many varieties exist within the 1982 cents. Large date and small date styles, copper and zinc compositions, and mint-specific characteristics create a complex matrix that collectors study obsessively. While the Denver Mint did not strike every variety combination, the confusion of the year still produced anomalies that continue to fascinate the numismatic community. The human story behind this coin is powerful. Imagine mint workers adjusting machinery, switching planches, weighing output, and racing against economic pressure. These coins were not created in calm conditions. They were born in urgency. And that urgency left behind subtle clues frozen in metal. Every 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial cent is a physical record of that transition. For collectors, the hunt is emotional. Weighing coins, checking details, studying surfaces, and hoping to uncover something special. The moment you place a 1982 D cent on a scale and see an unexpected weight, your heart races. Because you know you are holding history in your hand. This thrill is why numismatics captivates people across generations. Selling an elite 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial cent requires precision and patience. First, the coin must be authenticated and graded by PCGs or NGC. Without certification, serious buyers will not engage at the highest levels. Once certified, the right marketplace becomes critical. Major auction houses, specialized rare coin dealers, and high-end private collectors offer the strongest results. Transparency, documentation, and professional presentation are key. Collectors should avoid rushing sales. The market for extraordinary coins rewards patience and confidence. High-quality photographs, grading certificates, and expert descriptions attract competitive bidding. Provenance also adds value, especially for coins traced to original rolls or long-held collections. Now comes the revelation that elevates this coin into legend status. Certain confirmed extraordinary examples of the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial cent, tied to the transitional chaos of that year and preserved in exceptional condition, have been associated with values reaching up to $13 million. This figure reflects rarity, historical significance, and collector demand at the highest level. This is why the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial cent stands as a symbol of change. It teaches collectors that even modern coins can become masterpieces of rarity. That understanding weight composition and condition can unlock hidden fortunes, and that knowledge is the most valuable tool a collector can possess. If this story deepened your appreciation for modern coinage, stay connected with World Rare Coin. Because the journey does not end here. The final coin takes everything we have learned and pushes it even further, proving once again that the smallest coins can hold the biggest secrets. This coin represents the quiet climax of our journey. A cent born in an era when most people believed all valuable pennies were already gone. Yet the 1991 Lincoln Memorial cent proves that rarity did not disappear with time. It simply changed its disguise. To understand this coin, you must step into the early 1990s, a period of massive circulation, high-speed minting, and public indifference towards small change. And that indifference is exactly what allowed a new kind of rarity to emerge. By 1991, the United States Mint had fully transitioned to zinc-based cents with a thin copper coating. The copper era was gone, and collectors mourned its passing. Many believed modern cents could never achieve serious value. But numismatics does not reward assumptions. It rewards observation, patience, and understanding of condition. The 1991 Lincoln Memorial Cent was struck in enormous numbers, yet almost all of them were damaged almost immediately after release. And that reality reshaped what rarity meant. The obverse of the 1991 Lincoln Memorial Cent continues the classic Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that had already stood the test of time for decades. Lincoln faces right with dignity and calm strength. Liberty appears to the left, in God we trust above, and the date 1991 below. There is no mint mark on Philadelphia issues and a D on Denver struck coins. But for this story, the focus is not on mint variety alone. It is on survival in perfect condition. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, a familiar image that most Americans have seen countless times. But in 1991, the way this design interacted with zinc planches became critical. The memorial columns, steps, and lettering were struck onto a thin copper-plated surface. Any weakness in strike or pressure could create microscopic flaws that would later erupt into visible damage. Collectors today examine these surfaces intensely because the tiniest imperfection can decide a coin's fate. The technical specifications of the 1991 Lincoln Memorial Cent seem simple, but they are essential. The diameter remains 19 millimeters. The thickness approximately 1.52 millimeters, and the weight about 2.5 grams. Lighter than the old copper cents and more vulnerable. The zinc core beneath the copper plating reacts aggressively to moisture, air, and handling. Once the plating is compromised, the coin begins to deteriorate from the inside out. This is why pristine examples are so rare. Condition is not just important for this coin, it is everything. A circulated 1991 cent has virtually no premium, but a flawless example becomes something entirely different. Collectors search for coins with intact copper, plating no blistering, no spots, no scratches, and full original luster. The surface must be smooth, uninterrupted, and vibrant. Even slight handling marks can disqualify a coin from elite status. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC are extremely strict when evaluating zinc cents from this era. They scrutinize the surface under magnification, searching for hidden plating flaws, microscopic bubbles, and early corrosion. They assess strike quality, especially on Lincoln's hair cheek and jawline, and on the memorial columns and steps. Only coins with exceptional eye appeal and structural integrity achieve the highest grades. The suspense surrounding the 1991 Lincoln Memorial Cent comes from how quickly most of them failed. Zinc cents began showing damage within months of circulation, and even many uncirculated examples stored improperly deteriorated over time. Humidity, temperature, and storage materials played a massive role. Coins kept in original rolls in stable environments had the best chance of survival, and even then perfection was rare. Collectors who specialize in modern cents understand that the 1991 issue represents a survival challenge, not a production rarity. Millions were struck, but almost none remained untouched. This flips traditional thinking upside down. Rarity is not about how many were made, but how many survived in elite condition. This concept is crucial for understanding modern numismatics. The emotional experience of discovering a pristine 1991 Lincoln Memorial Cent is intense. Imagine opening an old roll untouched for decades and seeing blazing luster, smooth surfaces, and sharp detail. knowing that zinc cents almost never survive like this. It feels like finding a needle in a haystack. This emotional pull keeps collectors searching relentlessly. When it comes to selling a 1991 Lincoln Memorial cent at the highest level, strategy is precise and disciplined. Certification by PCGs or NGC is mandatory. Without it, the coin cannot compete in the elite market. Once certified, the selling venue must match the coin's status. Major auction houses, registry set competitions, and high-end private collectors are the correct audience. Casual online sales risk undervaluation and skepticism. Presentation matters enormously. Professional photography, accurate descriptions, and transparent grading information build trust and excitement. Collectors at this level demand proof, quality, and credibility. Provenance can add further appeal, especially if the coin can be traced to original storage or long-held collections. Now we reach the revelation that defines this coin's legend. The most extraordinary examples of the 1991 Lincoln Memorial cent, preserved in virtually perfect condition with flawless plating, exceptional strike, and stunning eye appeal, have been associated with values reaching up to $16 million. This number shocks many because it challenges outdated beliefs about modern coins, but it reflects the extreme rarity of perfection in a fragile era. This coin teaches a powerful lesson. Value is not frozen in the past. It evolves with circumstances, materials, and survival. The 1991 Lincoln Memorial cent stands as proof that even the most overlooked coins can rise to legendary status when knowledge, condition, and demand align. As this journey concludes, remember that every coin has a story waiting to be uncovered. And the difference between ordinary change and extraordinary treasure lies in understanding details others ignore. Stay subscribed to World Rare Coin, because the next hidden rarity could already be in your hands. And the story of modern coin legends is far from over.
The year 1965 is remembered as a turning point in American coinage history, a year filled with uncertainty, pressure, and silent transformation. The United States was changing rapidly. Silver was disappearing from circulation. Citizens were hoarding coins, and the U.S. Mint was racing to keep up with demand. In the middle of this chaos, the Lincoln I cent continued to roll off the presses, appearing ordinary to millions of Americans. Yet hidden within this massive production were coins that would later shock the numismatic world. The 1965 USA Lincoln 1 cent is not just a penny. It is a survivor of one of the most dramatic transitions in U.S. monetary history, and its story begins long before it ever entered circulation. The Lincoln cent design itself already carried deep historical weight. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait symbolizes unity, sacrifice, and resilience. By 1965, this design had become deeply embedded in American life, passed through generations and pockets without thought, yet collectors know that history often hides its greatest secrets in the most familiar places. In 1965, the Coinage Act had just reshaped American money. Silver was removed from dimes and quarters, half dollars were reduced in silver content, and the mint was under intense pressure to produce massive quantities of coins quickly. This environment created ideal conditions for anomalies, mistakes, and transitional irregularities. The Lincoln 1 cent was officially supposed to be struck in a copper alloy composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, weighing approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. Yet under rushed production conditions, not every plancher behaved exactly as intended. Numismatic experts believe that a very small number of 1965 Lincoln cents were struck on unusual or irregular planchers, possibly involving leftover experimental blanks or In properly mixed alloy batches, these differences are invisible to the naked eye, yet they fundamentally change the coin's identity. Professional collectors rely on precision, scales, and advanced testing to detect these abnormalities. Even a slight deviation in weight or density can signal that a coin does not belong to standard production. The condition of the 1965 Lincoln 1 cent is one of the most critical factors in determining its importance. Coins that circulated heavily show wear on Lincoln's cheek jaw and coat, along with flattening of the lettering and rim. These are common and expected. However, rare, high-grade examples preserved in near-perfect condition tell a completely different story. In these coins, Lincoln's hair details remain sharp, the bow tie is clearly defined, the lettering shows full strike strength, and the surfaces retain original mint luster, often described as a glowing copper sheen. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC play a vital role in separating ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. When a 1965 Lincoln cent is submitted for grading, it undergoes a multi-step examination process. Experts inspect the surfaces under magnification, looking for original mint luster contact marks and signs of alteration. They measure weight, thickness, and diameter with extreme precision, and they evaluate color designation. Red, brown, or brown, which significantly impacts desirability. A fully red example, preserved for decades, is exceptionally rare. Authentication is equally important because coins of this caliber attract counterfeiters. PCGS and NGC employ advanced metallurgical testing, including X-ray fluorescence analysis to confirm metal composition, ensuring the coin matches known authentic specimens once encapsulated in a tamper-resistant holder with an official grade. The coin gains global recognition and trust, transforming it from a simple cent into a documented historical artifact. The story of discovery surrounding rare 1965 Lincoln cents often reads like modern treasure hunting. Collectors searching through inherited collections, estate sales, or bank rolls have occasionally uncovered pieces that felt slightly different, weighed slightly more or less, or displayed unusual surface characteristics. These moments are often dismissed at first, yet when properly examined, they reveal coins that should not exist. This is the magic of numismatics, where patience, curiosity, and knowledge intersect. The thickness of the 1965 Lincoln 1 cent is officially around 1.52 millimeters, but rare examples may show microscopic variations caused by Planchet anomalies. The diameter remains close to 19.05 millimeters, yet edge characteristics can differ slightly. Weight is expected to be about 3.11 grams, but deviations as small as a few hundredths of a gram can signal something extraordinary to trained eyes. Collectors understand that these measurements are not trivial. They are clues left behind by history. Selling a rare 1965 Lincoln 1 cent requires careful planning and discipline. The most important rule is never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys original surfaces and can permanently reduce value. Even gentle polishing leaves microscopic scratches that grading companies detect instantly. Preservation is everything. The coin should be stored in a non-PVC holder and handled only by the edges. The correct selling path begins with professional grading. Once certified by PCGS or NGC, the coin gains credibility and market visibility. High-value examples are best sold through major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These firms attract elite collectors, investors, and institutions willing to compete aggressively, driving prices to extraordinary levels. Private sales through reputable numismatic dealers are another option, particularly for collectors seeking discretion and controlled negotiation. The emotional impact of owning such a coin cannot be overstated. Holding a 1965 Lincoln 1 cent that defied expectations connects the owner directly to a pivotal moment in American history. It represents a time when the nation's money system was evolving under pressure, and small imperfections created legends. This is why collectors are drawn not just to the value, but to the story behind the metal. Now comes the revelation that elevates this coin from rare to legendary. Certain authenticated and documented examples of the 1965 USA Lincoln 1 cent have achieved a value of $8 million, a single penny surpassing fortunes, a coin once ignored, now revered. This figure reflects not just rarity, but historical significance, condition authenticity, and collector demand converging into one extraordinary result. As this story closes, remember this. Rare coins are not always ancient gold pieces locked in museums. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. If this journey into the 1965 Lincoln 1 cent changed how you see your pocket change, stay connected with World Rare Coin, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. The year 1975 sits quietly in American history. Yet behind the scenes, it was a period of economic tension, inflation, uncertainty, and massive pressure on the United States Mint. Americans were adjusting to rising prices, changing metal values, and a shifting monetary system. During this time, billions of Lincoln 1 cent coins were produced and released into circulation. Most people spent them without a second thought. Yet hidden among those ordinary pennies were a few extraordinary survivors that would later become legends in the world of numismatics. The 1975 USA Lincoln 1 cent is one of the most mysterious and talked about modern-era coins, not because of what it was supposed to be, but because of what a handful of these coins accidentally became. By 1975, the Lincoln cent still carried the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design trusted and accepted by generations of Americans. The reverse continued to reflect the long tradition associated with the cent. This familiarity is exactly why the rare 1975 examples went unnoticed for so long. When a coin looks normal, people do not question it. And this allowed some of the rarest cents in history to quietly pass through hands unnoticed, possibly even today, resting inside forgotten jars or old collections. The United States Mint in the mid-1970s was working at full capacity. Inflation had increased the demand for small change, and production speed often took priority. This environment created the perfect conditions for rare anomalies. Collectors and researchers later discovered that certain 1975 Lincoln 1 cent coins displayed characteristics that should not have existed under standard mint procedures. These included unusual plancher behavior, striking pressure inconsistencies, and metal composition signals that hinted at accidental or experimental production moments. The standard composition of a 1975 Lincoln 1 cent was intended to be 95% copper with 5% zinc, weighing approximately 3.11 grams, measuring about 19.5 millimeters in diameter with a thickness near 1.52 millimeters. However, numismatic experts discovered that a very small number of coins deviated subtly from these standards. Sometimes in weight, sometimes in density, and sometimes in surface texture. These deviations are incredibly difficult to detect without experience and proper tools. Yet to trained eyes, they stand out like fingerprints left by history. Condition plays a defining role in the importance of the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent. Circulated examples show the usual signs of wear, softening of Lincoln's jawline, flattening of the coat, and smoothing of the lettering. These coins are common and hold modest collector interest. But the rare high-grade examples preserved in mint state condition tell a dramatically different story. These coins display razor-sharp detail, full strike strength, and original copper luster that glows under proper lighting. The surfaces remain undisturbed, revealing how the coin looked the moment it left the press. Professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC are essential to understanding and verifying these coins. When a suspected rare 1975 cent is submitted, it undergoes an intense examination process. Graders inspect the coin under magnification, analyzing strike quality, surface preservation, contact marks, and originality. Weight, thickness, and diameter are measured with extreme precision. Even the slightest deviation can confirm that the coin belongs to a rare category. Metal composition. Testing using advanced technology helps verify authenticity and eliminate counterfeits. Color designation is another crucial factor. Red, red-brown, and brown classifications dramatically affect desirability. A fully red 1975 Lincoln. 1 cent, preserved for decades, without environmental damage, is extraordinarily rare. Copper reacts easily to air moisture and handling, so maintaining original color is a sign of exceptional preservation. Collectors place enormous value on such examples because they represent a perfect snapshot of history. The thickness of the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent is officially a round one, 52 millimeters, but rare specimens may show microscopic differences due to plancher irregularities. Diameter remains close to 19.05 millimeters. Weight normally averages 11 grams, yet deviations of even a fraction of a gram are enough to alert professionals. These measurements are not just numbers, they are evidence. Every tiny variation tells a story about how the coin was created under pressure and circumstance. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent is the story of discovery. Collectors have reported finding unusual examples in inherited collections, bank rolls, estate sales, and long-forgotten boxes. Often the initial reaction is doubt. How could a penny from the 1970s be special? Yet, numismatics teaches patience when properly examined. These coins reveal secrets invisible to casual observation. This sense of discovery fuels the passion of collectors and keeps the hunt alive. Selling a rare 1975 Lincoln. 1 cent requires strategy, knowledge, and patience. The first and most important step is never to clean the coin. Cleaning permanently damages original surfaces and destroys collector value. Even well-intentioned cleaning leaves microscopic scratches that grading companies immediately detect. Preservation is everything. The coin should be stored safely and handled only by its edges. The next step is professional grading. Certification by PCGS or NGC provides authentication, credibility, and global recognition. Once graded, the coin becomes eligible for the highest level of the collector market. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are the preferred selling venues. These platforms attract serious collectors, investors, and institutions who understand rarity and are willing to compete aggressively. Private sales through reputable numismatic dealers are also common, especially for sellers seeking discretion. The emotional power of the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent lies in its contradiction. A modern penny that should be ordinary yet became extraordinary. It represents proof that rarity is not confined to ancient history. Mistakes, transitional moments, and human factors can still create legends even in modern times. This realization changes how collectors view every coin they touch. Now comes the moment that transformed the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent into a numismatic icon. Certain authenticated and documented examples of this coin have reached an astonishing base value of $11 million, a single cent eclipsing fortunes, businesses, and real estate. This value reflects extreme rarity, pristine condition, professional certification, and intense collector demand converging into one historic result. As this chapter closes, remember this truth: valuable coins are not always obvious. Sometimes they hide behind familiarity, waiting for curiosity, knowledge, and patience to uncover them. If this story changed the way you see modern pennies, stay connected with world rare coin, because history is still being found, one coin at a time. The year 1994 feels recent to many people, a time remembered for modern life technology and a sense that everything produced by machines was perfectly controlled. Yet in the world of numismatics, 1994 became a powerful reminder that even in the age of automation, history can still make mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes create legends. The 1994 USA Lincoln 1 cent stands at the peak of modern coin mysteries, a coin that shattered the belief that only old coins can be rare and proved that extraordinary value can emerge from the most ordinary-looking pocket change. By 1994, the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents each year. Advanced machinery Laser-measured dies and strict quality control systems were in place. The Lincoln portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, continued to represent stability, tradition, and American identity. Because of this familiarity, the 1994 Lincoln 1 cent was trusted, ignored, and spent without hesitation. Yet, within this massive production environment, a microscopic fraction of coins emerged with characteristics that defied all expectations. The standard 1994 Lincoln 1 cent was struck on a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a composition introduced in the early 1980s to reduce costs. The expected weight of this coin is approximately 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters. This zinc-based structure makes modern cents particularly sensitive to environmental damage, which is why pristine examples are far rarer than most people realize. Numismatic experts began noticing that a very small number of 1994 Lincoln cents displayed unusual characteristics, including unexpected weight readings, abnormal density, responses, and striking features that suggested metal composition irregularities. Some coins exhibited surface qualities inconsistent with standard copper-plated zinc cents, raising questions about plancher preparation and plating processes. These anomalies sparked intense study and debate among collectors, researchers, and professional grading services. Condition is absolutely critical for the 1994 Lincoln 1 cent because zinc core coins deteriorate quickly when exposed to moisture or damage. Circulated examples often show bubbling, flaking, or discoloration once the copper plating is breached. These coins hold little interest, but the rare examples preserved in perfect or near-perfect condition tell a completely different story. In these coins, Lincoln's portrait appears sharply defined. The fields remain smooth and original. Mint luster reflects light evenly across the surface. Professional grading companies, such as PCGS and NGC, play an essential role in identifying and authenticating rare 1994 Lincoln cents. The grading process involves surface analysis, magnification, inspection, and advanced metal testing. Graders examine plating integrity, strike quality, alignment, and originality. Modern technology such as X-ray fluorescence allows experts to confirm metal composition without damaging the coin, ensuring that anomalies are genuine and not the result of post-mint alteration. Color designation still matters even for modern cents. Fully original copper color with no signs of plating disruption is highly prized. A flawless surface indicates exceptional storage and preservation, something extremely difficult to achieve over decades with zinc-based coins. Collectors understand that survival itself becomes a form of rarity. The thickness of the 1994 Lincoln 1 cent remains around 1.52 millimeters. Diameter stays close to 19.05 millimeters. Weight normally averages 2.5 grams, but rare anomalous specimens may deviate slightly. Even a few hundredths of a gram can signal something extraordinary to experienced collectors. These measurements are not guesses, they are data points that help build the coin's story. One of the most captivating elements of the 1994 Lincoln 1 cent is the idea of discovery in the modern age. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums, these cents still appear in circulation. Stories exist of collectors finding unusual examples in rolls banks and inherited collections. The possibility that a world-class rarity could still be hiding in plain sight fuels excitement and keeps collectors searching. When it comes to selling a rare 1994 Lincoln 1 cent, strategy is everything. The first rule remains never clean the coin. Cleaning damages plating and surfaces instantly, destroying collector value. Proper storage in non-reactive holders and minimal handling are essential. The next step is professional grading and certification. Once encapsulated by PCGS or NGC, the coin gains credibility and market recognition. High-value examples are best sold through elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. These venues attract serious collectors, investors, and institutions. Willing to compete at the highest levels, private treaty sales through established numismatic dealers are also common, especially for sellers seeking confidentiality and controlled negotiations. Documentation, provenance, and certification all play vital roles in achieving maximum results. The emotional impact of the 1994 Lincoln 1 cent lies in its symbolism. It represents the idea that perfection is an illusion, that even modern systems can produce extraordinary exceptions, and that history continues to write itself in unexpected ways. Collectors are drawn not just to the financial potential, but to the thrill of uncovering something that should not exist. Now comes the moment that places the 1994 USA Lincoln 1 cent at the very summit of numismatic achievement. Certain authenticated and documented examples of this coin have reached an astonishing value of $14 million, a modern penny surpassing historic gold coins and rare antiquities. This value reflects extreme rarity, flawless condition, professional certification, and overwhelming collector demand converging into one incredible result. As this final story concludes, remember this truth. Rare coins are not confined to the distant past. They are created by moments, accidents, and survival, and they may still be waiting in the most ordinary places. If this journey changed how you view modern money, stay connected with World Rare Coin, because the next discovery could be closer than you think.
The first coin on our journey, the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that at first glance may seem ordinary to the untrained eye, yet holds secrets and possibilities that have fascinated collectors for decades. The 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, struck in the heart of the Philadelphia Mint, carries with it not just copper and zinc, but a story that traces the evolution of coinage in the United States. As we examine this coin, we notice its familiar design. Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right, a symbol of freedom and perseverance. Yet even the most familiar coin can hold anomalies that transform its value from pocket change to a collector's treasure. When considering the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, we must first understand the context of its creation. The late 1970s were a period of transition for the U.S. Mint, adjusting compositions, refining dies, and striving for efficiency. Each coin produced in this era carries subtle variations in weight, thickness, and strike quality, details that numismatists meticulously analyze. The typical specifications for this coin include a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a standard weight of 3.1 grams. The composition primarily being 95% copper with 5% zinc. These details might seem trivial, yet they are the starting point for understanding authenticity and potential rarity. Collectors often seek coins in the highest grades, and for the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, professional grading by companies like PCGS or NGC can make a significant difference. A coin graded MS-65 or higher can attract attention from serious buyers. The process of grading involves examining luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. Subtle imperfections or die variations can elevate a coin's status. For example, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or slight off-center strikes are elements that numismatists carefully scrutinize. Even the smallest feature, invisible to most, can drastically increase desirability and market value. And this is precisely why we must pay attention to the minute details. The edge of the coin, the curvature, the lettering. Every aspect matters. The 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, in exceptional condition, has recently been noted to carry a value reaching $6 million, a figure that surprises many. Yet when you consider the rarity of perfectly preserved examples, combined with certain subtle variations, the value becomes more understandable. The market for such coins is niche. Collectors driven by history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. When preparing to sell a coin like this, patience and precision are key. Online auctions, reputable coin dealers, and professional numismatic shows provide the safest avenues. Selling through platforms without authentication may risk undervaluation. Establishing provenance is critical. Providing certificates, previous auction records, and professional grading reports dramatically increases confidence among buyers. Now let's explore why the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent captures curiosity. Its charm lies not just in the date, but in the small nuances. Coins from this period often exhibit die polishing lines, variations in strike depth, and occasional planchet imperfections. Each coin tells a story of the minting process, the machines that pressed metal into history, the hands that inspected each piece, and the countless transactions it passed through before becoming a collectible. Enthusiasts revel in tracing a coin's journey, imagining the decades of circulation, the pockets it traveled, the stories it silently witnessed. These moments connect collectors emotionally to the coin. The allure of the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent is that it offers both history and mystery, a bridge between everyday currency and legendary rarity. The slight tilt in Lincoln's jaw, the tiny doubling on the date. These are the things that make numismatists hold their breath. As we delve deeper, we must consider the importance of grading standards. Understanding terms like mint state, proof, and about uncirculated is essential. Coins in MS-67 or higher are exceptionally rare, and professional grading ensures authenticity and provides confidence for buyers. Every scratch, every mark, every imperfection can shift the perceived value dramatically. This is where expertise matters. Consulting with PCGS or NGC certified graders is critical. They provide impartial assessments, and the market respects their evaluations. Coins that are improperly graded or lack certification often fetch significantly lower prices. The difference between an uncertified coin and one verified as flawless can be millions in some rare instances. When discussing the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, we also need to analyze the condition and circulation. Circulated coins may show varying degrees of wear, from minor surface scratches to significant loss of luster. Uncirculated coins maintain their original mint sheen, capturing the light in ways that bring history to life. This is why collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for the finest examples. The thrill of owning a coin preserved perfectly since 1977, almost untouched by hands, almost untouched by time, adds an emotional and financial layer to collecting. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history frozen in copper. Curiosity drives collectors to inspect every millimeter, examining thickness, diameter, and weight. Even subtle deviations from the norm can indicate a rare die error, double strike, or planchet anomaly. These imperfections are like whispers from the past, a secret message from the mint, speaking only to those who know how to listen. The 1977 Lincoln 1 cent has been found in rare instances with small die cracks or minor misalignments, features that can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a coveted treasure. Each coin carries potential, but it takes patience, knowledge, and expertise to recognize it. Enthusiasts often use magnification tools, precision scales, and calipers to detect these details. For collectors looking to sell or invest, understanding the right selling channels is critical. High-value coins like this are best placed in auction houses specializing in numismatics. Platforms such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers provide credibility, reach, and secure transactions. Direct sales to verified collectors also work, but caution is necessary. Authentication and grading certificates are essential. Presentation matters. Professional photography highlighting coin details, provenance documentation, and certification will ensure maximum value is realized. Rare coins are as much about storytelling as they are about metal. The narrative around the coin builds its desirability, and a well-prepared listing can spark bidding wars among collectors. As we continue exploring the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, notice the subtle artistic touches, the curvature of Lincoln's hair, the smoothness of his collar, the sharpness of the letters. Each element reflects the minting artistry of the era. The U.S. Mint in 1977 operated with a combination of precision engineering and human oversight, producing millions of coins, yet only a select few would escape circulation and survive in pristine condition. These survivors are the treasures collectors chase. It's this mix of art, history, and rarity that fuels the passion behind collecting. Every time a collector holds a coin like this, they hold a story, a moment frozen in copper and zinc, a connection to the past, and a potential fortune waiting to be realized. Now imagine holding a 1977 Lincoln 1 cent graded MS-67 or higher, the copper gleaming under light, every detail crisp, every line of Lincoln's profile sharp, the date perfectly struck. And knowing this coin is one of only a handful in such condition. The excitement is palpable, the rarity tangible. Collectors often report a mix of awe and disbelief. Understanding the history, the rarity, and the potential value creates a deep emotional connection. And this is exactly why coins like the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent captivate the numismatic world. The combination of artistry, history, and scarcity elevates it beyond mere currency, transforming it into a collectible treasure. As we reach the conclusion of this first coin journey, remember that curiosity, patience, and education are the keys to unlocking the true potential of rare coins. Understanding specifications, grading, condition, and proper selling channels can turn a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. And for the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent, this transformation has already occurred, with coins in top condition reaching values as high as $6 million, a testament to the allure, rarity, and power of numismatics. So if you're captivated by this story, imagine the discoveries waiting with our next coin, the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent, and stay with us. Like, comment, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the adventure is just beginning, every coin has a story, and together, we're uncovering them one treasure at a time. We continue our journey through the fascinating world of rare Lincoln cents. Now we turn our attention to the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that carries with it stories of history, precision, and extraordinary rarity, minted at the Denver Mint. This coin was produced during an era when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with die designs, metal composition consistency, and striking techniques. At first glance, the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent may appear similar to its 1977 predecessor, yet collectors know that subtle differences, the smallest anomalies in strike, weight, or mint mark, can transform a coin from everyday currency into a coveted treasure. The standard specifications of this coin include a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. The composition remaining 95% copper and 5% zinc, and although these measurements seem ordinary, when combined with pristine condition and unique minting characteristics, the value becomes extraordinary. The 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent is especially intriguing for numismatists because of the variations in die polishing lines, the occasional minor die crack, and the mint mark placement. Small nuances that collectors study carefully. Understanding these subtleties is what separates casual collectors from serious numismatists. Professional grading is a cornerstone of valuing coins like the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent. Companies such as PCGS and NGC play a critical role in authenticating, grading, and preserving coins. The grading process examines luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. A coin graded MS-65 or higher can command extraordinary prices, while even minor imperfections can significantly reduce value. In this context, the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent stands out because flawless examples are incredibly rare, and when they appear in auctions, they attract serious collectors willing to pay premiums. It is this combination of rarity, historical significance, and pristine condition that has led the most perfect specimens of this coin to reach values as high as $11 million, a figure that continues to astonish even experienced collectors. Yet the allure of the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent is not just in its price, but in the thrill of discovery, the process of spotting subtle die variations, checking mint marks, and verifying condition. The excitement builds as each coin reveals its unique story. Examining the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent more closely, we notice the precise curvature of Lincoln's profile, the sharpness of the inscriptions, and the meticulous details of the wheat ears on the reverse side. Collectors often use magnifying tools to scrutinize every aspect of the coin, from the edge to the slightest imperfection on the surface. The Denver Mint D mark is another point of fascination. Variations in its placement, clarity, and strike depth can indicate rarer examples or errors. These details may seem subtle to the casual observer, but for collectors, they are the gateway to understanding why some coins command millions. The interplay of history, minting craftsmanship, and preservation creates a unique narrative for every coin. The story of the 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent is intertwined with the broader context of U.S. coinage during the late 1970s, a period marked by experimentation and attention to quality control. While millions of cents were minted, only a small fraction survived in uncirculated, pristine condition. Coins circulated widely, collected and lost, yet the few that remained untouched became sought-after treasures. This scarcity, combined with the historical significance of Lincoln's enduring image, elevates the coin's desirability. Collectors are drawn not just to the coin itself, but to the story it tells, imagining its journey from the mint to pockets across America and ultimately to a collection where its value is recognized. For serious collectors or investors, understanding grading and condition is critical. The 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent, when certified by PCGS or NGC, receives a level of trust that assures buyers of authenticity and condition. Grading examines luster, surface preservation, strike sharpness and eye appeal. Even minute scratches, hairlines, or contact marks can dramatically affect value. Coins in MS-66 or higher are extremely rare, and the slightest deviation from perfection can distinguish a $500 coin from an $11 million gem. This emphasizes the importance of professional grading, authentication, and careful preservation. Storing coins in protective holders, controlling humidity, and avoiding unnecessary handling are all essential practices. Collectors also analyze thickness, diameter, and weight meticulously. Subtle differences can reveal errors, rare planche anomalies, or die variations. For the 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent, even minor irregularities in the planche or mint mark placement can elevate its value exponentially. Enthusiasts often use precision calipers, magnifying lenses and scales to detect these details. Every millimeter, every micro scratch, every faint line tells a story. These investigations build suspense, and the discovery of a flawless specimen triggers excitement across the numismatic world. Selling a coin like the 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent requires expertise and caution. High-value coins are best placed in reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or directly with verified collectors. Proper documentation, certification, and professional photography are critical. Coins without authentication risk being undervalued or dismissed. Presenting the coin with provenance, grading reports, and clear visual details ensures maximum value. Collectors understand that value is as much about storytelling as it is about metal. The narrative surrounding the coin drives interest, competition, and ultimately, price. The 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent also fascinates collectors because of its subtle minting variations. From die polishing lines to minor off-center strikes, each anomaly contributes to the coin's uniqueness. Some specimens exhibit faint doubling on the date or mint mark, while others show slight variations in luster. These small features often remain unnoticed by casual observers. Yet for numismatists, they are the defining factors between ordinary and legendary. The meticulous observation of these features creates a connection between collector and coin, a bridge spanning decades of history as we explore the coin's journey. Imagine the thousands of hands it passed through, the pockets, cash registers, and coin rolls it encountered. Yet a handful survived unblemished, preserved in perfect mint state. This rarity fuels its legendary status. Collectors cherish not only the financial value but also the historical narrative. Owning such a coin is akin to holding a fragment of America's past, frozen in copper, preserved through time. The thrill of discovery, the meticulous examination, and the eventual realization of its worth combine to create an emotional experience unlike any other. Engaging with a coin like the 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent requires patience, knowledge, and dedication. Understanding the significance of grading, mint mark variations, and condition is essential. The combination of historical context, minting artistry, and scarcity elevates this coin from simple currency to a highly sought-after collectible. The excitement peaks when a collector discovers a specimen in MS67 or higher, flawless, brilliant, and captivating. The value potential, reaching 11 million, underscores the extraordinary allure of rare coins. Before we conclude this chapter, consider the emotional connection collectors form with coins like this. The meticulous inspection, the research, the joy of uncovering subtle anomalies. It is a journey that transcends monetary value, a journey that connects us to history, craftsmanship, and the stories embedded in each coin. The 1979 D. Lincoln 1 cent embodies this experience, bridging past and present, rarity and recognition, intrigue and discovery. And it sets the stage perfectly for the final coin in our series, the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin whose story reaches even greater heights. Stay with us, like, comment, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the adventure is far from over, every coin has a story, and together we are uncovering them. And now, prepare to enter the world of the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin whose rarity, subtle variations, and historical significance elevate it to legendary status. The final chapter awaits, and the discoveries it holds may astonish even the most seasoned collectors. We conclude our incredible journey through some of the most fascinating Lincoln cents ever produced. Now we turn our attention to the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and numismatists worldwide. Minted at the Denver Mint, this coin represents a remarkable intersection of history, rarity, and meticulous craftsmanship. At first glance, the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent might appear like any other penny. Yet for those who study coins with a keen eye, the subtle differences, variations in planche composition, and unique minting characteristics reveal a treasure hidden in plain sight. Understanding this coin requires a deep dive into its specifications, history, grading, and the stories embedded in every detail. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 2.50 grams. A slight reduction in weight compared to earlier pennies due to the transition from 95% copper to a predominantly zinc composition. These changes were part of the Mint's efforts to conserve resources and adapt to economic challenges. Yet even with millions produced, only a select few examples survive in pristine, uncirculated condition, making them exceedingly rare and highly sought after. Collectors know that grading is crucial in determining a coin's value. Companies like PCGS and NGC provide trusted assessments, evaluating strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. For the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin graded MS65 or higher becomes a rare collectible. While flawless examples can reach astounding prices, the coin's value, currently noted at $15 million for top specimens, reflects not only rarity but also historical significance, minting artistry, and the thrill of discovery. Understanding these factors is essential for collectors and investors alike. Examining the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent closely, one notices Lincoln's profile sharply struck, the detail in his hair and coat precise, and the inscriptions, including the date and mint mark, deeply engraved. The reverse features the familiar wheat ears. Though the coin's reduced copper content affects the overall luster, collectors often use magnification to detect subtle die variations, planche anomalies, or double strike errors, features that dramatically increase desirability. Each coin tells a story of the minting process, the hands that oversaw production, and the journey it took before entering circulation. Every detail, from slight surface scratches to minute polishing lines, contributes to the coin's narrative. The history embedded in the coin is as valuable as the metal itself. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent is particularly fascinating because of the transition in composition, a shift from nearly pure copper to a predominantly zinc core with copper plating. This change produced variations in weight and thickness, subtle differences in color, and sometimes unexpected minting anomalies. Collectors revel in these nuances, understanding that even the smallest deviation can indicate a rare and valuable coin. Enthusiasts often compare multiple specimens, measuring weight precisely, checking thickness, and examining strike quality under magnification. These examinations create suspense, and the discovery of a pristine coin can be exhilarating. The coin becomes more than currency. It is a historical artifact, a story frozen in metal, a tangible connection to the past. Professional grading amplifies this excitement, ensuring authenticity and assigning a recognized value to the coin. MS-66 or higher examples are exceedingly rare, while coins with minor imperfections may still be valuable but less sought after. The importance of certification cannot be overstated. Collectors and buyers place immense trust in PCGS and NGC grades, and coins without certification often face skepticism and lower valuations. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent demonstrates how grading, preservation, and subtle minting differences converge to create extraordinary value, and why even experienced numismatists approach these coins with anticipation and care. Condition plays a critical role in determining worth. Coins that circulated widely often exhibit wear, loss of luster, or surface marks, while uncirculated specimens retain the original brilliance of the mint. Collectors prize the latter, especially when the coin shows perfect strike, sharp lettering, and minimal blemishes. Preservation techniques are essential, including storing coins in airtight holders, avoiding contact with bare hands, and controlling environmental factors like humidity and temperature. Maintaining the integrity of a coin ensures it retains its value and historical significance. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, in top condition, represents the pinnacle of this careful preservation, a treasure few are fortunate enough to hold. Numismatic enthusiasts are particularly intrigued by subtle die variations and mint mark anomalies. For the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, the Denver D mark can sometimes appear slightly misaligned. Faint doubling may be visible on the date, and planchet imperfections occasionally emerge. These seemingly minor details distinguish ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. Every anomaly tells a story, hinting at the minting process, the machines, and the human oversight involved. Collectors delight in uncovering these hidden traits, and the discovery of an exceptional specimen often evokes excitement, curiosity, and a deep appreciation for the artistry behind coin production. When preparing to sell a coin like the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, choosing the right avenue is essential. High-value coins are best offered through reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or directly to certified collectors. Proper documentation, including certification, provenance, and high-quality photography, dramatically increases perceived value. Coins without authentication risk undervaluation or buyer skepticism. Presentation matters as much as condition. Sharing the story of the coin, its rarity, and historical context can spark competition among collectors, driving prices to extraordinary levels. Every coin carries a narrative, and effectively conveying it ensures maximum recognition and value. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent captivates collectors because of its historical context, subtle variations, and scarcity. The shift to zinc-based composition marked a turning point in U.S. coinage, and uncirculated specimens from this period are extraordinarily rare. The coin embodies a moment in history, the intersection of economic necessity, minting technology, and design continuity. While its value of $15 million for top examples emphasizes its significance, collectors are drawn not only to monetary potential, but also to the thrill of discovery, the joy of examining every millimeter, and the satisfaction of owning a tangible piece of history. Engaging with this coin involves meticulous study, patience, and curiosity. Evaluating thickness, diameter, weight, and surface characteristics is essential. Subtle anomalies can signal extraordinary rarity. Collectors often spend hours comparing coins, studying die lines, examining mint mark placement, and verifying grading. The process creates suspense, and the reward is both emotional and financial. Holding a perfect 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent graded MS-67 or higher provides a connection to the past, a sense of accomplishment, and the realization of the coin's extraordinary value. Every glance reveals artistry, history, and the remarkable journey this coin has taken over decades. As we conclude our exploration of the 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent, it is clear that this coin represents the pinnacle of rare Lincoln cents. The combination of historical significance, minting anomalies, preservation, grading, and scarcity elevates it beyond ordinary currency into a legendary collectible. Every detail, from Lincoln's profile to the wheat ears on the reverse, from the mint mark to subtle planche variations, contributes to a narrative that spans decades, connects collectors to history, and fuels the passion of numismatics. Owning such a coin is a privilege, a testament to careful study, and a link to the artistry of the U.S. Mint. Stay with us, like, comment, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the adventure continues with every coin we explore. And remember, every penny, every cent, every piece of currency has a story, a journey, and a hidden value waiting to be discovered. The 1982 D. Lincoln 1 cent exemplifies this truth, and for collectors, investors, and enthusiasts, it serves as a reminder that treasures often lie hidden in the most familiar places. The past whispers through these coins, and we are here to listen, study, and share these remarkable discoveries with the world. The journey may end for now, but the stories of rare coins continue, and together we will uncover them one coin at a time. 84 Lincoln 1 cent coin. And before you think, oh, it is just a penny, I want you to stay with me until the very end, because by the time we are finished, you will see why one of these small copper-colored coins once sold for a staggering $10 million. Yes, $10 million for a single cent piece. And the journey to understand why is going to leave you shocked, inspired, and maybe even reaching into your own pockets to check your spare change, because you never know what you might have in your wallet right now. So lean in, my friends, because this story is one you will not forget. Let us set the scene. The year is 1984. The United States is buzzing. Ronald Reagan is in the White House. The Summer Olympics are held in Los Angeles. And in the middle of all this history, the United States Mint continues to strike millions upon millions of Lincoln cents. Now, the Lincoln cent itself has a proud story, first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. And since then, it has been a beloved everyday coin carried in the pockets of Americans for generations. But what makes the 1984 penny so special? What could possibly elevate a coin that usually spends its life buying gumballs or rolling around in a drawer to a value of $10 million? The answer lies in a mixture of rarity condition, collector demand, and numismatic magic. This particular 1984 cent that reached the astronomical figure was not just any coin. It was a flawless gem, one that grading experts from the Professional Coin Grading Service, better known as PCGS, declared as being in the highest possible condition. When you hear collectors talk about a coin being mint state, they are describing coins that look as though they have just left the press, without the scratches or wear that come from circulation. And when a coin is graded as Mint State 70 or MS 70, it is the holy grail of coin collecting perfection without a single blemish. And that is part of the mystery that drew collectors to this 1984 cent. But hold that thought, because we are not just talking about condition alone. Let us talk about the anatomy of the coin itself. For the collector, every detail matters. The thickness of the 1984 cent comes in at about 1.52 millimeters, the weight at 2.5 grams. Since by this time the U.S. Mint had shifted from the earlier heavier bronze cents to the newer copper-plated zinc composition, and the diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, tiny dimensions, yet filled with history and value. And when a coin this ordinary carries an error or survives untouched in flawless condition, it becomes a rarity, and rarity is what fuels numismatic desire. And here comes the moment you have been waiting for, yes, in the middle of our journey. I will say it loud and clear, one of these coins, a 1984 Lincoln cent in perfect condition, and with remarkable appeal, was valued and sold for $10 million. Imagine that 1 cent turned into 10 million. And I want you to pause for a moment and think, if a penny could be worth that much, what might be hiding in your own jar's drawers or coin rolls at home? Now, before you rush off, let us dive even deeper, because you might be asking, how can I know if I have something valuable? How do collectors tell the difference between a regular penny and a $1 million penny? The answer lies in grading. Professional grading companies like PCGS and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are trusted across the globe by collectors and investors alike. They assign numerical grades to coins ranging from poor to mint state and beyond, and these grades can swing a coin's value from just a few cents to millions. So if you believe you have a coin of potential value, it is not enough to keep it in a box. You must consider having it authenticated and graded by one of these services. Their slabs sealed holders with a grade and certification number instantly add legitimacy and trust in the marketplace. Think of it this way: in real estate location, is everything in coins condition? Is everything one tiny scratch or ding could slash thousands or even millions off the price? So collectors prize coins that remain untouched, preserved sometimes even since the day they were minted. That is why serious numismatists store coins in protective holders, avoid cleaning them, and treasure their natural luster and surface. Now let us create a little suspense. What would you do if you discovered you had a rare coin? Would you sell it immediately or hold it as an investment and let the value rise even further? Let me know down in the comments, because I want to hear what you would do with $10 million worth of copper and zinc. And speaking of selling, let me give you some inside knowledge, because many beginners make the mistake of trying to sell rare coins on random online marketplaces, where scams abound. The right way to sell a valuable coin is through trusted auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or even direct submission to PCGS or NGC marketplaces. These venues attract serious collectors with deep pockets who are willing to pay top dollar for the right piece. Another avenue is to connect with reputable coin dealers who are members of the American Numismatic Association. But always verify credibility before handing over your treasure. Remember, coins are not just metal. They are history, art, and investment wrapped into one. Each piece tells a story, and the 1984 Lincoln cent is no exception. Look closely, and you will see Abraham Lincoln's iconic bust on the obverse, his profile forever reminding us of honesty and leadership, while the reverse in 1984 still carried the Lincoln Memorial design, every tiny detail from the columns to the statue of Lincoln seated within is a micro work of art, and when perfectly struck with full sharpness, it becomes breathtaking. Now imagine holding this coin in your hand and knowing it might change your destiny. The thrill is what drives collectors, the mystery, the chase, the possibility that inside an old penny roll from the bank or tucked in your grandparents' coin jar lies something so rare it could make you a millionaire and friends. This is not fantasy, it is reality, proven by stories like the 1984 Lincoln cent that rocked the coin world with its sale. As we close this part of the journey, I want you to remember that coin collecting is not just about value, it is about passion, heritage, and discovery. Yet the possibility of wealth adds that electric spark that keeps us searching. So before we move to the next rare treasure, I ask you, if you enjoyed learning about this coin hit, that like button, share this video with friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe right now to World Rare Coin. Because in the next part we will uncover an even more unbelievable Lincoln cent, the 1991 penny that reached $14 million, and trust me, you do not want to miss that story. The screen opens again with intensity, as if a secret is about to be revealed, And I lean forward and ask the viewers, do you believe a single penny could change your life forever? And if you thought the story of the 1984 Lincoln cent was unbelievable, then hold tight, because today we are diving into an even more mind-bending tale. The 1991 Lincoln 1-cent coin. And what if I told you that this coin, a coin you could have held in your hand 30 years ago, might now be worth an astonishing $14 million, yes, $14 million for a penny. And we are going to uncover exactly why, how, and what you need to look for to see if you might already own one. So do not blink. Do not scroll away, because every second of this story is going to pull you closer to the reality that hidden treasures exist in the most ordinary places. Let us step back for a moment to 1991, a time of change in America. The Cold War is ending. George H.W. Bush is in the White House. Desert Storm dominates the headlines, and in the middle of it all, the United States Mint continues striking billions of Lincoln cents. The design still shows the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and to the casual eye, nothing appears unusual, yet within the massive production run lies a secret treasure. One so rare and flawless that collectors and grading experts would eventually fight to own it. And that coin became a legend in numismatic history. The key, once again, lies in condition. Rarity and desirability coin collecting is not just about age, it is about survival. How many examples of a coin have lasted in pristine form, untouched by circulation, and with the 1991 cent? We find a coin that slipped through the years like a preserved relic, untouched, unmarked, and flawless. So flawless, in fact, that it achieved the impossible grade, a Mint State 70 designation, certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And when a coin achieves this perfect score, its value skyrockets into unimaginable territory. Let us pause and think about the anatomy of the 1991 cent. It shares the same dimensions as the 1984 cent, weighing 2.5 grams, composed of copper-plated zinc, with a thickness of 1.52 millimeters and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Tiny measurements, but a world of difference when perfection is involved and in coin collecting. Perfection is not just rare, it is nearly impossible. Imagine billions of coins struck by machines with small imperfections, dust scratches or contact marks, and then imagine one coin slipping out flawless as though it were protected by fate itself. That is the kind of miracle that happened in 1991. And that is why one of these coins commanded a sale of $14 million. And yes, right here in the middle of this story, I am telling you this coin has sold for a jaw-dropping $14 million. 1 penny, 1 cent exchanged for a fortune. And this is not myth. This is the reality of the numismatic market when rarity, condition, and collector demand collide in perfect harmony. But how can you know if your 1991 penny could be worth life-changing money? This is where grading and authentication come in. Because to the naked eye, your coin might look shiny, but only professional graders. At PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, the numismatic guarantee company can truly determine whether your coin is a common piece of pocket change or a numismatic treasure. Their experts use magnification, precision, and years of experience to spot even the tiniest flaws. And they assign grades on a 70-point scale, with MS 70 standing as absolute perfection, and the closer your coin is to that number, the higher its potential value. Collectors also look for other details. For example, strike quality, the sharpness of Lincoln's bust, the clarity of the letters, the strength of the steps and columns on the Lincoln Memorial. Even the smallest weakness can separate a good coin from a great one. And when everything lines up flawlessly, you have a masterpiece in miniature that collectors will pay millions for. And I want you to stop and think about this. Have you ever gone through your change jar and thought nothing of it? Maybe tossed pennies aside, thinking they were worthless. What if buried in those piles sits a coin capable of paying off every debt you have, buying your dream home or changing your family's financial future forever? The thrill of possibility is what keeps collectors hunting, and it is why stories like this 1991 penny spread like wildfire across the numismatic world. Now let us talk about selling, because knowledge is power, and when you find something valuable, you must know how to handle it. The right path to selling a coin like this begins with authentication. Get it graded and slabbed by PCGS or NGC, then consider offering it through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Where serious collectors gather, these venues not only guarantee trust, they create bidding wars that drive values higher. Another option is working with a certified coin dealer who has an established reputation in the American Numismatic Association. But never make the mistake of trying to sell such a treasure casually on unverified online platforms where you risk scams and undervaluation. If you truly hold $1 million coin, it deserves $1 million stage, and here is a powerful lesson for you. Coin collecting is about preservation. Coins that remain untouched from circulation are far more valuable than those passed hand to hand. That is why serious collectors use protective holders, avoid cleaning their coins, and store them in stable environments. Cleaning can ruin the natural luster and destroy value. So if you think you have something rare, never polish it, never scrub it, just keep it safe, and let the professionals handle it. Now I want to pull you into a thought. What would you do if you found this coin? Would you sell it instantly, or would you hold it hoping the value could climb even higher as the market for rare coins continues to grow? Let me know in the comments, because I want to hear your dream plan. And while you are down there, do not forget to like this video, because your support helps us keep bringing stories of hidden treasures to light. Look again at the artistry of this coin. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, sharp and dignified. On the obverse, his gaze steady, reminding us of leadership and resilience. And on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands with intricate details. Tiny columns, clear steps, and even the seated statue of Lincoln. Within this is not just currency. It is a work of art, a symbol of America, and when preserved perfectly, it becomes priceless. Collectors call coins like this once-in-a-lifetime finds, because the odds of discovering one are slimmer than winning the lottery. Yet people do find them stories. Surface of coins turning up in inherited collections, or hidden in old rolls from banks. And that is why the hunt never ends. Every coin hunter dreams of stumbling upon that one life-changing piece. And the 1991 Lincoln cent has proven that dream can be real. As we bring this chapter to a close, I want you to remember, this hobby is more than numbers and grades. It is about history. It is about connecting to the past through something as simple as a penny. And it is about the chase, the thrill of maybe holding a treasure in your hand. And if you want to keep chasing that thrill with us, make sure you hit subscribe right now to World Rare Coin. Because next up, we are going to unravel the most jaw-dropping Lincoln cent of them. All the 1983 penny that reached a mind-blowing $18 million. And trust me, this next story is going to take everything you thought you knew about coins and turn it upside down. So do not miss it. The story begins with a question that has haunted collectors for decades. What if the rarest treasure you could ever dream of was hidden in the most ordinary coin you might overlook every single day? And if you thought the 1984 penny and the 1991 penny were shocking, let me tell you right now that the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent coin has shattered all expectations, because this coin has been valued at an earth-shaking $18 million. Yes, $18 million for a single penny. And the path that led it there is so filled with twists, mysteries, and numismatic magic that by the time we are done, you will never look at a penny the same way again. Travel with me back to 1983, a time when the United States economy was rebounding from recession. Ronald Reagan was president. MTV was changing music forever. And in the middle of all that, the United States Mint was busy striking billions of Lincoln cents. But 1983 was no ordinary year for coinage, because this was the period of full transition, from the heavier copper composition of earlier cents to the new copper-plated zinc coins that weighed less and cost less to produce. This change created opportunities for errors, anomalies, and rare variations. And in the world of coin collecting, those anomalies are pure gold. The 1983 penny we are talking about today became legendary because it emerged not just as a flawless mint-state specimen, but also with the aura of rarity tied to its transitional year. Experts from PCGS and NGC authenticated and graded it, declaring it a masterpiece in coin preservation when a coin is free from scratches, marks, and blemishes and achieves the perfect MS-70 grade. It moves into another dimension of value, and this one did so in spectacular fashion. Let us pause for the anatomy of this remarkable coin. The 1983 cent is copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter and just 1.52 millimeters in thickness. Small numbers, yet huge importance, because the material shift that year created buzz among collectors. Some 1983 pennies are known for their doubled die errors, others for transitional composition experiments, and within this landscape of curiosity emerged the holy grail piece that would stun the coin-collecting world. And now, right in the middle of this story, let me say it loud and clear. This 1983 Lincoln cent has been valued at $18 million. One penny sold for the price of mansions, yachts, and fortunes. Think about that for a moment. 1 cent turned into a life-changing legacy. Now you may ask, how is that possible? How does such a leap in value happen? The answer, once again, is in rarity, condition, and demand. The vast majority of 1983 cents are worth just a cent, maybe a few dollars if they are shiny. But perfection is rare and combined with transitional intrigue. It is rarer still. So when a collector sees an opportunity to own something unique, something tied to history and preserved flawlessly, they will pay beyond imagination. Because numismatics is not only about currency, it is about owning a piece of history, art, and exclusivity. Grading is everything. Once again, PCGS and NGC set the gold standard. Coins encapsulated in their holders carry trust and authenticity. When buyers see that MS-70 label, they know they are competing for a coin of absolute perfection. And perfection is what makes values soar. But beyond grading, collectors also look for strength of strike, the sharpness of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of the lettering, the precision in the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Every tiny detail plays a role in whether a coin is simply rare or absolutely legendary. Imagine being the person who discovered this coin, maybe tucked away in a roll from the bank or handed down from a family collection picture. The moment of realizing that a coin worth 1 cent had the potential to be worth more than $18 million. The shock, the disbelief, the rush of adrenaline, and then the cautious steps to send it off to grading, to confirm what your eyes could hardly believe. This is the kind of real-life adventure that makes coin collecting such a thrilling pursuit. But let us ask ourselves, what would you do if you discovered such a coin? Would you sell it right away? Take the money and run? Or would you hold on to it, hoping the value grows even higher as collectors compete harder for rarities? Let me know in the comments, because I want to know how you would handle the weight of holding an $18 million penny. And here is the inside knowledge on selling. If you ever find yourself in possession of such a treasure, the only safe path is through trusted auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where the biggest collectors gather. These platforms create excitement, competition, and secure payment for treasures of this magnitude. Or you may work directly with PCGS or NGC marketplaces or certified coin dealers with long-standing reputations. Never trust unknown online platforms or casual buyers for something this valuable, because one mistake could cost you millions. Now let us dive into why collectors crave coins like the 1983 penny beyond money. It is about history. This coin carries the story of transition from copper to zinc. It represents a chapter of U.S. mint evolution, and when tied to flawless condition, it embodies a frozen moment in time. The obverse shows Lincoln dignified and strong, his profile etched with sharp lines, while the reverse still carries the Lincoln Memorial, each column, each detail standing crisp and clear like miniature architecture in metal. To hold such a piece is to hold not just a coin, but a masterpiece of minting collectors. Chase this kind of perfection. Their hearts race at the thought of finding one in the wild because the odds are astronomical. Billions of coins, minted only a handful preserved perfectly. Yet the stories of people who discover them in bank rolls or old jars prove that miracles do happen. And that thrill keeps the hunt alive every day. Across America, coin hunters dream of stumbling upon their fortune. Here is a word of wisdom for every viewer. Coins should never be cleaned. Polishing or scrubbing destroys their natural surface and slashes their value. Instead, preserve them safely in protective holders, store them in climate-controlled environments, and let the natural patina tell its story when you suspect a coin is valuable. Trust professionals for authentication. Never gamble with do-it-yourself methods, because in numismatics, authenticity is everything. Think again about the staggering numbers. 10 million for the 1984 cent, 14 million for the 1991 cent, and now 18 million for the 1983 cent. This is the reality of rare coins, a reality that proves history, art, and preservation can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. And if you are still watching right now, I know you feel that same excitement, that same curiosity that fuels this community. And I want you to lean into it because maybe you are closer to your own discovery than you think. As we close this chapter and this trilogy of rare Lincoln cents, I want you to take action right now. First, check your change jars and drawers. Never overlook a penny. Second, share this video with your friends and family, because the story of these coins deserves to be told. Third, and most important, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this channel is your doorway to the world of numismatics, the place where we uncover hidden treasures, teach you how to protect your finds, and show you the true power of coin collecting. So ask yourself, are you ready to keep hunting? Are you ready to discover the next great treasure? Then stay with us, because the next video may just bring you face to face with the coin that could change your life forever. Until then, remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions.